for dark nights.
Grinning. Written by Groshek. Narrated by Brendan Hurlbert. Original music and audio production by Jason Hornack. When I stepped out of the shower this morning, the bathroom was fine. White walls, white tiles, sink and counter crusted over with toothpaste. The usual. One of the 4 light bulbs over my sink was burned out, like it had been for weeks. I guess it never bothered me enough to do anything about it. It would have been easy to get another bulb from the kitchen, but today I was busy and, like usual, late for work. Besides, the 3 remaining 100-watt bulbs were too powerful as it was. They made it blindingly bright in the small white room. I shrugged it off. I had a date later that night, and my girl liked it when I didn't shave, and like I said, I was late, so I decided to skip shaving. In fact, I considered doing mutton chops. I figured she'd get a kick out of that. On my way out the door, I passed the mirror and noticed briefly that I was grinning, which was strange. I didn't even realize I'd been grinning. The date was terrible. She slammed the apartment door in my face. Then when I got home and was on my way to the bathroom to brush my teeth, I flipped the light switch, and there was something wrong with the lights. Perfect, I thought. Just perfect. Like this morning, 3 of the 4 bulbs were on, but they were giving off a weird brownish glow. They weren't giving off much light. In fact, they were only bright enough to light up the bit of space directly in front of the mirror. I sighed. It was good enough for the moment. I promised myself I'd replace them in the morning. Toothbrush in hand, I reached to turn on the tap to rinse it off and casually glanced up at the mirror. You'd think that the horrible date combined with the light bulb situation would have wiped this stupid grin from this morning off my face. But no. In the mirror I could see I was still grinning. But something was definitely wrong. If I touched my face, it didn't feel like I was grinning. But there it was in the mirror. A huge ear-to-ear smile. I backed away for a second and tried to rationalize what I was seeing. The further I got from the mirror, the harder it was to see myself, but the grin remained, ever present. Then a strange thought crossed my mind. Have you ever counted how many teeth actually show when you smile? I'll admit, I was curious, so I leaned in close. I began to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I never realized my mouth was so wide. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could never have pulled off mutton chops after all. 11, 12, 13, 14. I started to shake. In the hazy reflection in the mirror, the corners of my lips were out to my ears. It still didn't feel like I was grinning. I put my hands to my face again. I scowled, I frowned, I gagged, I clenched. All the while my reflection kept on grinning. I wanted to back away, to run, to scream. Anything. I wanted to call for help, collapse to the floor, smash the glass. But I just stood there. That is, until the same strange curiosity overtook me again. I couldn't help myself. I picked up counting where I'd left off. 36, 37, 38, 39. I stared at the mirror for what felt like days. When I finally broke my gaze, came to my senses, and ran from the bathroom. Oh, it was still dark outside. I could hardly see a thing, so I flipped on my living room lights. They worked, but they too were dim. They didn't help much. Why now? I thought. I made my way to the kitchen and flipped the light switch there as well. Again, everything was dim. All the bulbs were there, but they looked strange, like they'd been dipped in rust. And there was a strange buzzing sound that I couldn't pinpoint the source of. I started to get really freaked out at that point, so I sought help from friends. I checked my phone and it was dead. I could have sworn I charged it overnight. Damn it, I thought. With that option off the table, I did the only thing I could think of. I grabbed my laptop off my coffee table, booted it up, and jumped online to see if I could reach my friends via chat or a social media site. I wasn't able to get very far though, as before long the poor lighting made it difficult to see the screen. At the exact moment I started to compose a message, all of the light bulbs in the house appeared to dim more than they already had, if such a thing were even possible. It was unnatural how dark it was. Darker than it should have been, even for nighttime. I was left with just enough light to see my reflection in the black of my computer monitor. The image of my grinning face on my PC's screen reminded me. I still hadn't figured out how many teeth actually show when I smile. I didn't want to, but I couldn't help myself. I was so curious, so I leaned in close. I counted again. 40, 41, 42, 43. At that moment, I noticed the time on my computer. 10 a.m. Not p.m. Why was it so dark and hazy outside? Was there some kind of solar eclipse going on? 44, 45, 46, 47. I touched my face again. I was absolutely sure I wasn't grinning. 48, 49, 50. Despite myself, I began to laugh. Oh, this situation had gotten ridiculous. When you think about it, really think about it, it was actually kind of funny. The living room lights faded completely, followed by the kitchen lights. I should have been terrified, but strangely, I felt relieved. It was actually kind of nice, just my reflection and I, sitting there in the dark, just the two of us alone, together, relaxing. I couldn't help but smile, ear to ear, as the last remaining light from the sun blended into oblivion. Then, all of a sudden, I got it. I understood. I've decided I no longer need anyone's help. I've never felt so good before. I don't need saving. Everyone else does. I'd like everyone to do me a favor. Dim the lights, and then smile. That's right, into the black of your monitor. It sounds silly, I know. Just do it. Just look at your reflection and smile. As wide as you can. Good. Then count your teeth. Good. I'll bet you've got a beautiful smile.